Room temperature refers to the range of air temperatures that people prefer indoors. Measuring room temperature is actually really easy to do. You can choose a thermometer that you keep in the center of the room to provide a temperature reading, or you can download an app to your smartphone that can measure room temperature. How to use multimeter, how to check start capacitor, how to use glass thermometer, how to make vacuum pump, how to clean steamer, how to clean stainless steel appliances, how to put wheels on cooler, how to fake stainless steel appliances, how to buy pressure washer, how to save energy with your appliances, how to choose appliances, how to install cabinet hinges, how to buy refurbished appliances, how to buy home appliances online related articles, how to use multimeter, how to check start capacitor, how to use glass thermometer, how to make vacuum pump, how to use multimeter, how to check start capacitor, how to use glass thermometer, how to make vacuum pump. Learn why people trust WikiHow, how to measure room temperature, co-authored by WikiHow staff, updated July 21, 2019. Explore this article. Reading thermometer using smartphone. Ask question related articles. References. This article was co-authored by our trained team of editors and researchers who validated it for accuracy and comprehensiveness. Together, they cited information from references. WikiHow's content management team carefully monitors the work from our editorial staff to ensure that each article meets our high-quality standards. Learn more. Room temperature refers to the range of air temperatures that people prefer indoors. Measuring room temperature is actually really easy to do. You can choose thermometer that you keep in the center of the room to provide temperature reading, or you can download an app to your smartphone that can measure room temperature. Steps method. Reading thermometer. Choose digital thermometer for the most accurate reading. Electronic or digital thermometers can be more expensive than other thermometers, but they provide faster reading and can give more accurate temperature. They also react to temperature changes faster than other types of thermometers, so you always have an accurate reading. 1. Some digital thermometers have the capability to store temperature readings. So you can compare the room temperature over time to see how it changes. Use glass thermometer to get an approximate temperature. Glass thermometers use glass tube filled with liquid to measure the temperature. As the air around the thermometer gets warmer, the liquid moves up the tube and can be used to get close measurement of the room temperature. Choose glass thermometer that doesn't contain mercury. Mercury is highly toxic and can be dangerous if the thermometer breaks. 2. Glass thermometers can also be called bulb thermometer or liquid in glass thermometer. Select bimetallic thermometer for an easy-to-read option. Bimetallic or dial thermometers have metal pointer that moves up and down circular scale to show you the temperature. They use strip of metal that expands and bends as the temperature increases. As the strip expands or contracts, it moves the pointer on the scale. The big arrow of the pointer makes it easy to check the room temperature. 3. Bimetallic thermometers aren't as accurate as digital thermometers. Place the thermometer in the center of the room. No matter what type of thermometer you use, you need to place it in the center of the room at least feet 0. 61 meters off of the ground for an accurate measurement of room temperature. Mounting thermometer on wall can produce inaccurate results because the heat from the walls can distort the reading. 4. Set the thermometer on table or stool so the temperature of the floor doesn't affect the reading. Tip: make sure there aren't any sources of heat near the thermometer. Wait minutes for the thermometer to adjust to the room. Before you check the temperature, allow the thermometer to adjust to the room. Thermometers, especially glass and bimetallic, need few minutes to accurately read the temperature of the room. Don't hold or stand directly next to the thermometer or your body heat could affect the temperature reading. 5. Check the temperature on the thermometer. After you've placed your thermometer in the center of the room and waited few minutes to allow it to adjust, you can check the temperature reading to measure the room temperature. General room temperature measurement is around 70 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit, 21 to 24 degrees Celsius. 6. Digital thermometer will display the temperature on its screen and will be the most accurate. Read the numbers next to the top of the liquid in glass thermometer to measure the temperature. Look at the number that the arrow is pointing to on bimetallic thermometer to measure the temperature. Method using smartphone: download thermometer application to your smartphone. Many smartphones are equipped with sensors that they use to monitor the temperature of the device. You can download an app that uses these sensors to take an ambient temperature reading of the room. Go to the App Store on your phone and search for Thermometer app to download. 7. Go to the App Store to download Thermometer app to your iPhone. Use the Google Play Store to download an app to your Android. Popular temperature apps include My Thermometer, Smart Thermometer, and iThermonitor. Open the application. Once you've downloaded the app, locate it on your screen, and tap on it with your finger to open it up. You may have to wait few minutes for the app to update after you open it up. You have to wait until the app is fully downloaded before you can open it. Select the ambient temperature reading to measure room temperature. Depending on which app you use, you will have different temperature readings to choose from. Some apps allow you to check the temperature of your phone's battery or the temperature outside based on meteorological data. Choose the ambient temperature reading to find the room temperature around you. 8. Tip: most apps allow you to choose between Celsius and Fahrenheit displays, but you can also convert the measurements from Fahrenheit to Celsius or vice versa. Community Q&A search: add new question, ask question 200 characters left, include your email address to get message when this question is answered. Submit template for rendering: submitted question template for answer confirmation template form for creating, updating curated question template for the social login, sign-up form template for social login, sign-up confirmation already answered not question bad question other template for rendering desktop article question template for rendering an unpatrolled QA template form for desktop thumbs up, down functionality template for rendering top answerers data related WikiHows how to use multimeter how to check start capacitor how to use glass thermometer how to make vacuum pump how to clean steamer how to clean stainless steel appliances how to put wheels on cooler how to fake stainless steel appliances how to buy pressure washer how to save energy with your appliances how to choose appliances how to install cabinet hinges how to buy refurbished appliances how to buy home appliances online references https://www Explain That Stuff. Com, thermometers, HTML https://www, EPA. Gov, Mercury, Mercury thermometers https://www, Explain That Stuff. Com, thermometers, HTML https://www. New Learn. Info, packages, clear, thermal, people, surveying, measurements, measuring conditions, HTML https://www. New Learn. Info, packages, clear, thermal, people, surveying, measurements, measuring conditions, HTML http://www, Reachout Michigan. Org, Fun Experiments, Age Subject, Lessons, Caps, Thermometer, HTML https://medium. Com, at SS Oral, measure the temperature around you on Android with My Thermometer A6dBEFA 539 CF https://medium. at SS Oral, measure the temperature around you on Android with my thermometer A6dBe FA539 CF. New pp limit report. Cache time 20,200,113,010,340. Cache expiry 86,400. Dynamic content false. CPU time usage 0.043 seconds. Real time usage 0.101 seconds. Preprocessor visited node count 201 1/millionths. Preprocessor generated node count 732 1/millionths. Post expand include size 238 2,097,150 seconds of a byte. Template argument size 2,097,150 seconds of a byte. Highest expansion depth 3/40. Expensive parser function count 0.100. Unstrip recursion depth 0.20. Unstrip post expand size 4,175 millionths of a byte. Lua time usage 0.040 seconds. Lua virtual size 10.22 megabytes 50 megabytes. Lua estimated memory usage. Transclusion expansion time report %. Calls template 100.00% 73. 882 total 86. 84% 64. 157 template, convert 6. 74% 4. 983 template, reflist saved in parser cache with key wicked B_112 p cache, idhash, 11,180,313-0, canonical and timestamped 20,200,113,010,340 and revision id 26,821,399.